Welcome to O Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're doing great. I am top shelf, living the dream, ready to go. So today we're going to talk about, it's tough. It's tough to talk about some of these things because I have a lot of people that I talk to from time to time, and some of them are close. Some of them I see in groups, like this past week was fantastic. And then occasionally I'll see somebody they'll come up to me, I told you that in confidence. So they think the O-Talk is about them. Most of these O-Talks are about me, just so you know that. And I'm not being defensive because I'm going to keep going with either what people request or I feel myself, but it's not necessarily about you, but it could be. It reminds me of the preacher who one time, I know I heard one of the people in his congregation was having an affair. One of the men. And so it was beginning to be a scandal. And so the preacher came up with this great message on adultery. Oh, he was hitting it, man. Everything he said, the words came just right and powerful, powerful message. He thought, man, this guy's being convicted of his ill-gotten ways. And so he puts the invitation out, come down and, confess and get this all squared away and, live better, whatever, however he put it. And so all these men started coming to the front and a few women just confessing their sin. And the one guy he was preaching to comes up to him and say, Pastor, there's a lot of people up here. If you need any help counseling them, I'll be glad to help you. So the point is, this is not targeted toward any one person, but if you know somebody and if you're feeling this yourself, hopefully it helps a little bit. I know it helps me. But the main topic today, it's called visiting the battlefield or living the victory instead of keep fighting the battles. Because I'm going to ask a question, and I just think everybody deserves an honest answer here. Why do so many people just fight like hell to win, but they live like they lost? They won, but you're living like you lost. You keep fighting that battle that you've won. You finally get through a divorce. You survive an illness, or you've been with somebody who's suffering an illness, and it worked its way out to some sort of end. Maybe you've built a business and struggled, and now you finally made it. Maybe the relationship was healed and you've mended that. It's like climbing a mountain. You got to the top. You crossed the finish line. You won. But you don't live like it. You still live the struggle. You still rehearse the pain. That pain doesn't hurt anymore because it's not now. It's in the past. You're reliving it. You're rehearsing the pain. And it's, they retell the story or the injustice. It's, they just revisit that battlefield over and over rather than living the victory. And this question is not rhetorical, but if you're going to focus more on the struggle than the win, why win at all? Why win at all? Well, we're dealing with the Olympics, and we'll make some Olympic analogies here in a second, but why pay that price if you don't collect the prize? That's like shopping and shopping and shopping and shopping, and then you pay for it and then you leave without the goods. This matters more than most people are willing to admit. And so that's why it's important. I'm hearing it over and over. Heard it a lot this week. You hear the story of the win. Oh, that's great. And then for the next 20 minutes, they talk about how hard it was and how it's broken them. So let's talk about the psychology of the struggle. The research from the National Science Foundation found that 80% of our daily thoughts are negative. We have between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts, depending on your age, your activity, and all that. That's the average person. And 80% of those thoughts are negative. Yes, I've said this stat many times because it's just hard to believe. But let me set the stage why this is true. We are conditioned to survive. So 80% of your thoughts, I'm not saying you shouldn't think negative thoughts that many times. However, let's think about a caveman. All right, a caveman, cold, got to build a fire. All right, fire. Oh, that's warm. That's positive. That's very good. Maybe you've got some food to eat. Oh, that's great. Okay, you got to kill that food. Oh, good. But then, I didn't live then, but I've seen stories. I read a book. But it's like he's endangering his life to kill something. Something's trying to kill him. You're in the cave. You got a fire. Okay, it could attract predators. I got to keep my family safe. They can't get too cold. Need to position myself so that I can fight off anything coming. All right, I need weapons. Those weapons aren't positive. Those are in case something bad happens. So see, you got food, you got warmth. Almost everything else was negative. So that's the way we're wired for survival. It's not because we're weak. It's because we're human. It's wired that way. We're not wired for happiness. So that's why I'm not beating anybody up here, including myself. We remember pain better than pleasure. That's just the way we're built. It's a negativity bias. It doesn't mean you're a negative person. That's why you can receive 10 compliments and one insult. What are you going to remember? The one insult, of course. I may have long flowing hair and six-pack abs, but if my feet stink, that's all I'm thinking about. None of those things are true, by the way. So that one bad thing, it erases the 10 many times. So that's why I'm saying if you're doing this rumination and thinking of the battle more than the victory, that's not unusual. But why win if you're not going to enjoy it? Part of your mind stays behind. PTSD is overused, but it's real. And there's ways to talk about it. The thing is, half the time when we're winning, we spend so much time guarding against losing again. In extreme cases, that to me, PTSD is extreme. But it's not always clinical. I'd like to, because sometimes it's not PTSD, it's just emotional residue. Go back to the Stone song. Emotional rescue is what we need from the emotional residue. But you have escaped the fire, but you still smell like smoke. That's probably the best analogy I can come up with. You survive the storm, but you still thunder. It's like, oh, it brings you back. You're safe, but part of you is still running. And I've heard stories about people literally running for their life, when they were in the service. And you never fully get over that if you're running for your life. So trying to set this up to the point to where it's normal, but it's not necessary. The Olympics are going on. These Olympics, they train for decades, some of them. So that's all they've ever done. Even these teenagers, I think of the gymnastics. It's Winter Olympics now, but the Summer Olympics are coming up. Some of these gymnasts have been going since they were 3 years old for this moment. And then they win the gold medal, and they're standing on the podium, and they hear the national anthem, and we all get emotional and we cry. But after that, what happens now? It's if they're young enough, it's the next time. They're celebrated and all that. But now it's all that you hear about, years and years of training and all this. And yeah, they won. But a lot of times they never allow themselves to feel it. They feel the injuries. They feel all of these things. Super Bowl. You win the Super Bowl. You won 5 Super Bowls. Okay, yeah, but you can't even walk because your knees are wrecked or whatever that is. The early mornings, getting up and working and doing all these stuff. These Olympians, that's all they do. That's all they live. The sacrifices and the pain. You won physically, for sure. But when you lose emotionally, is the win even worth it? And trust me, I'm about to get positive. I love the Olympics. I love all of this. At one time, I was an athlete. Yeah, we can talk about with specificity plays or different things from 50 years ago. And I love that. But let's talk about what's worth remembering. There's a guy, and I've seen his name come up so much, Viktor Frankl. He's a psychologist and a Holocaust survivor. But he said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. You can't change that battle. You didn't ask for the battle many times. Most of our challenges didn't come as an effort to obtain a gold medal. It's living through pain and sacrifice and things we didn't ask for. We didn't ask for this sickness. We didn't ask for heartbreak. We didn't ask for these challenges that have come along. However, we can still win it. And winning changes your situation. But you got to enjoy that win. And when you do, that changes you. It's so important. So reasons we focus on the struggle more than the win is that survival mode we've talking about. You fought for so long. Fighting just feels normal. Peace is unfamiliar because, does that mean I'm letting slack in the rope? To quote a former O-Talk. Yeah, it's just, I'm so used to the fight. I'm used to the struggle. We get to the point where the struggle defines us. It's survival mode. Yeah, another thing is we don't trust good things to last. We talked about that. Pain taught us to expect more pain. So we stay guarded. We're going to talk, hey, we're about to get over this. But we don't expect, too many good things are happening. Something's going to go wrong. Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy many times. And also the struggle earned us significance. Think about that one. People notice how tough we are. People notice what we've been through. What if we're okay? I dance very delicately around this. Mental health is a real challenge. It really is. Some people are defined by their struggle, by their challenges, by their problems, by their drama, by their whatever. And without that, they don't have anything. So sometimes that struggle earns us significance. So, and if we don't have that, we're going to disappear. That's uncomfortable. Then we confuse many times pain with strength. We think holding on to pain proves we're tough. We need to talk about that. Now, I've mentioned several times, 2025 was not an easy year for Dave, but I don't like talking about that anymore. I made it, and you can, when people want to talk about my struggle, and they'll bring it up, they just find out things that happen, and it's, oh, that's horrible. Oh, and you stayed positive through all that. Oh, how do you do that? Have you suffered? Have you grieved? Hey, my advice is hang around me a little bit. You'll see I'm all right. I won. The struggle's over. And so I'm not saying, look at me, this is how you do it. No. What I am saying is a lot of people confuse pain with strength and toughness. It doesn't necessarily mean that. If you constantly talk about the pain and the struggle, you're not healed. You're not through it necessarily. You're attached to it. And as long as you're attached to it, you're not going to win. But I'm foreshadowing. My bad. And the last thing I'll say as to why we hold on to it is we never practiced the emotional side of winning. We learned how to survive. Oh, yeah, tough as nails. Psh, didn't break me. By God, I got it done. But nobody taught us how to arrive at the destination. If so many football teams get down to the 1 yard line but don't score. But the struggle and the injuries along the way and the hits and the hard knocks and you got to get across the line. You have to arrive. You have to win emotionally, because all of this is emotion. It's not physical. It's emotional. And if we keep doing this, we're never going to be satisfied. You're not. If you keep living in the battlefield, you rob yourself of the joy that you actually earned. You earned this. But yet you're in that rearview mirror. You're looking at your scars. Remember the scars? A scar doesn't show up until the wound is healed. Celebrate the healing, not the wound. And you train your brain to stay in pain. I didn't even mean to rhyme like that. Hey, I'm a poet and don't know it. You train your brain to stay in the pain. Neutral pathways strengthen with repetition. They do. That's the way you tell your brain what to do, it's going to do it. You tell your brain to do it many times, it will go on autopilot. I remember basketball. We had a basketball clinic one time, and the guy said something I've never forgotten, and I've heard it a ton of times since. But he said, practice doesn't make perfect. If you practice something with the wrong form, yeah, you may get better at it. You're probably going to get better at it, but it doesn't make it perfect. Practice is permanent. So you train your brain to stay in the pain. That becomes permanent after a while. You define yourself by that. That's who you are now. And you exhaust yourself emotionally. The war is over, but you never stop fighting. And then what it does is you're going to sabotage yourself, future wins, because subconsciously winning never felt like a win. You never got that relief. You never got that moment. And it just feels like more pain or what's next. And it's not normal to be a chronic dweller. It's a tendency. It's human nature to some degree, but not chronically. Not without enjoying the win. And I'll really go back to, and this word is it's important. It's negative, and people don't want to say they do it, but it's rumination. It's that mental replay. I'm going to get a sip of Diet Mountain Dew. They're not a sponsor, but they could be. Rumination. It's replaying pain over and over and over without any resolution. You may hear it. Yeah, we did this and that, and then I fought this, and then I fought that, and blah, 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 blah. And then, hey, I healed. But man, it was rough. Did you hear that? I healed. But, yeah, let me go right back to the pain. And sometimes it's just we feel like we need to state that so that the win didn't come easy or easily. But we didn't learn from the pain if we keep talking about it. And we keep reliving it and ruminating. There's a difference between remembering the lesson and re-experiencing the wound. Let me say that again. There's a difference between remembering the lesson and re-experiencing the wound. Lessons will build you, but rumination, it traps you. And I'll just say it's dangerous. You don't need to forget the battlefield. I'm not saying that. You don't need to forget the trials, but also you don't need to relive it either. Other people have their own battles. They don't need to hear yours constantly. The thing is, I speak, and so I see these speakers, and they talk about the struggle, and that's important. A good movie has struggle, has conflict. But if you spend more time talking about that or dwelling on that than the victory, there's a problem. There's a problem. So just some things to focus on while you're still in the struggle. If you're in it right now, this matters, because as you're going through it, focus on progress. I'm making progress, because you either had the struggle, you're in the struggle, or one's a coming. All right, but win them and focus on the progress, not the perfection. One step. I'm a little better. Progress is movement. And progress proves that you are moving. Notice that. Notice that. And focus on who you are becoming. The struggle, it's going to help build a new identity. When you do that, you're not always that guy or girl that's in pain, that has a problem. You can show up and instead of talking about how bad something was, hey, guess what happened in a good way? After a while, that's not expected. Rebuild an identity of, yeah, this is good. Good things happen too. And the win. It can be a small win, but it's still a win. It's progress. It's movement. And then every struggle has a lesson. We just call that tuition. What's the lesson? What is the lesson? What am I learning? What in the struggle, am I learning that I would not have learned otherwise? #blessed. So focus on that. Focus on what you're learning, and then focus on the fact that you are still here. You have survived 100% of all of your struggles so far. Your worst days, don't think about them now. No. Don't ruminate. Your worst days, you made it. You survived them. And then focus on the prize. When you're in the struggle, what's it going to be like? So many situations at home, work, and play. If I can just get to here. Your struggles aren't over because there are going to be new ones. However, focus on that prize because your brain will move toward what it sees. Have a finish line. It can be a distraction. It's hard to work because I got a vacation coming up. Okay? All right. I'm struggling with this, and this at work because I'm distracted. I'm going to Jamaica. Okay. Well, take some time out and think about Jamaica because if you don't set that finish line and that prize, you're going to be in Jamaica thinking about work. That's not winning. So what are some reasons we need to focus on that prize and allow ourselves to win? It's very important. That's why a lot of people don't celebrate the win because they really haven't focused on it that much. They're just used to struggling. But it closes, when you focus on the win, it closes that emotional loop. And your brain needs that. Because if you don't, you're spinning all these plates. Okay, you've won. All right. That plate can come down. Your brain needs that. To feel what a win is? Oh, it feels good. And to release it so it can work on other things. Your brain needs some completion. Or you're just going to be worn out. Burn out over stuff that really doesn't apply. Also, it teaches your brain that effort leads to reward. I do more of this, I get more of this. I eat my vegetables, I get dessert. I work out, I feel better. In the long term, I'm in a short-term pain for a long-term gain. That's motivating. And it also builds confidence for future battles. Yeah. If I'm constantly talking about the battle, and it's here we go again. Oh, more pain. Oh, more of this. No, I got confidence. Hey, I knocked that out. Bring it on. I'll take care of this quicker. Or I'll avoid it completely because I know how to win now. And I got more energy. Winning is fuel for the next win. Whew, I'm getting pumped up thinking about it. And also, here's the thing I think is a good gateway to winning and feeling the win rather than ruminating over the battle. When you honor the win, when you've paid your dues, you've honored what you went through. If you don't accept that win, everything you went through wasn't worth it. You're not honoring that. You paid for that struggle. Don't leave that unclaimed. You did it. And that's why thriving is important. I do That was the fourth book, and really the completion of making Good Place Better is Thriving. So many people, they're used to confusion. They're used to giving away their power. They're used to the weeds and resentment and regret and angst. And once they get through it, they don't thrive. They don't know how to win. You did win, but you're not claiming it. And that doesn't honor the struggle. There's some truths that many people just don't realize. You don't just win the victory. You have to accept that victory. Live in it, but just bathe in the victory. Breathe it in. Allow yourself to feel it because you deserve it. And if you don't, that struggle still owns you. It does. It owns you, and you're ruminating, and call it whatever you want. Get somebody you can talk to. It can be a therapist. It can be a preacher. It can be a good friend. It can be just some quiet time to listen. But until you do that, the struggle still owns you. It does. So ask yourself honestly, are you still emotionally living in a place that you've already escaped? Physically, you won, yet emotionally, you're still there? Are you still defining yourself by what hurt you? Are you holding on to some grudge against somebody that did hurt you? They're not even thinking about it. You're just hurting yourself. So instead of what you overcame, you're still rehearsing the pain. Instead of remembering the strength and how strong you have become, because you are strong now, you didn't finish the fight. I mean, it's almost like in boxing. You knocked it out, like laying on the ground, and it's up to you to ring the bell. But you're just standing in the ring, ready for somebody else. Ring the bell. You won. Get out of there. Go celebrate. I like to have action items. I think we need to practice getting better or what we've talked about. So just a few things. I think a few easy things are going to help this muscle of celebrating rather than ruminating. First, you're going to have victories every day. Acknowledge them. Maybe a small one, it could be a big one, but take a second and acknowledge that. Yeah, that's good. I did that. Look at me. Good job. Good job, Dave. Acknowledge that every day. Just one. Do as many as you can, but just one. You'll get used to it. Then stop retelling the struggle as the main story. No, it's great. I did this. It's fantastic. I don't have to tell you about it. I don't have to tell you the days of practice. I don't have to tell you the days and the sleepless nights. I don't have to tell you about all that. Let me get to the punchline. Brevity is a way to gain power. I don't need to hear about your struggles more than the main story. And you don't need to hear about mine. Tell the victory story. How about that? Then celebrate the progress without an apology. You earned it. Yeah, here I am, man. Yeah, and you're going to always have naysayers. It drives me crazy in politics where one side tries to appease the other side. They hate you, man. You're never going to make them like you. Let's focus on ideas. Let's focus on the victory without apology. Progress may not even be victory yet. I'm doing better. Dave Ramsey, I love that. Hey, how's it going, Dave? Better than I deserve. I love that. That's got a little negative lace, but better is the key. So celebrate progress with no apologies. Quit saying I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I mean, if you do something horrible, apologize. But don't apologize for victory. Don't apologize for celebrating. And catch yourself when you visit that old pain unnecessarily. Catch yourself. And redirect. Stop yourself. Yeah, but it was rough. Oh, hey, but I won. Turn it around. When you feel yourself going down a negative road, you turn. Catch yourself doing that. Notice it. Purple car. You can have a clicker if you want. Turn that thing around. And then allow peace to be normal for you. Don't be suspicious of it. Uh-oh, things are too good. Ooh, I feel really calm right now. I feel really good. You know what? Good job, Dave. I feel like, today I feel like I got my act together. This morning, this hour, right now. But don't be suspicious of it. Don't be skeptical. I think those are good things. That's a good way to start. So I hope this is hitting the right tone because it's a positive message. And if you listen carefully, your struggle is important, but it had a purpose. Your struggle built you. The struggle taught you. You're stronger because of it, but it was never meant to keep you. You're supposed to get through it and learn from it. Focus on the lesson and not the struggle. You're not built to stay in survival mode. You're built to arrive. Here you are. You won. And when you win, don't hang around at the battlefield. Go home. Why are you afraid of your home? Sorry. Don't hang around the battlefield. Go home. Take that medal. Take that trophy. Badge of courage? Yeah, wear it. Feel it. Live that. Because the greatest victory is not surviving the struggle. It's allowing yourself to live the win. It's the whole game. It's the whole game. So I hope this hits a tone that you can receive it in the spirit it's given. We all struggle. I think the difference in that person that has peace or purpose or we'll just call it a positive mental attitude, W. Clement Stone, is that person who knows how to win, but actually executes the win and celebrates the win. Now that win can be in a group. I love that. A group sport, a team sport, an individual sport. You see a lot of that in the Olympics. It's fantastic, but you see them celebrate it. Focus on that and the lesson more than the struggle. All right. Hit me up. Tell me what you think. Tell me about how you've done this. Tell me the things you struggle with. Maybe we can walk through some of those. However, hit me up, David@otalks.com or Dave@otalks.com, or just look on the website, otalks.com. There's some stuff there. It tells you how to get a hold of me. I'm doing a lot of speaking again. I'm back out. I'm traveling like crazy. So that's on there too. I try to keep the calendar up to date. So I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging on. But most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.